everybody. Welcome to My Wishes at Mother Phoenix Rising. My name is Deidre.
And I'm Sharon.
And today we're going to be talking about the guilt that we all feel from saying no. Sharon, tell me when you start. I mean, I can start too, but
we all want to be people pleasers.
Yeah.
Some are better than others at saying no. I'm the worst. It is something I've probably learned in the last 2 or 3 years the most. Maybe 5 years. Saying no and
not feeling guilty.
And
that's the piece.
Yeah, and not feeling guilty so much. Because in the beginning, I hated when I had disappointed somebody or made them feel bad.
Do you think you made them feel bad, or you were feeling guilty, like
with
you
kids,
wanted to do everything?
Well, you want to make them happy, but there comes a time with kids. Sometimes you just have to say no, and
no and no and no and no.
Yeah.
But tell me about something that's happened to you that you felt really guilty about saying no. I mean, something bigger, something big.
Something bigger.
Yeah. That you felt. I mean, our kids, we always do that. And until we stop saying yes to everything, they're not going to grow.
Right.
These kids will not grow. They really need to be able to go through the, night of the darkness is what we call it,
Yeah, I think just telling them when they needed something or needed help when they were older. When they're little, they just cry and whine and you're the meanest mom in the whole world,
We've all heard that,
whatever.
Right? One of the things I felt really guilty about was my husband used to go on a lot of hunting trips, a lot of trips. And right before my daughter got married, her and I had planned a trip. It's our turn. And he went on this hunting trip with all the boys and did all this bachelor thing and everything else. And then we planned a trip. And something happened. He said, you can't go because, we have to have, I worked at the business, he worked at the business. He says, we need you here. So that was always a little bit of manipulation there. And I had to tell my daughter, we can't go.
Oh.
And I felt really guilty about that. And I felt guilty for myself because I kept putting myself off. Not only her,
right,
but I put myself off. And I kept putting myself on hold thinking, I just feel too guilty to say no to him and yes to her because I held that more important. And it was really something that I hung on to for a long time and realized you can't do this. You've got to say no, we're going to go anyway. I'm going to take that time and I'm going to go anyway. And so it's really important, I think, that after I turned 50, there was not too much that I can say no to. Or no, I'm not going to stay home. I'm going to go on that trip. Or no, I'm not going to do this because this was planned. So it's really been a lot easier for me to say no. And I don't feel the guilt. That's the piece.
Right.
The guilt with the no. Right. We've been taught that if you tell somebody no, you're going to be feeling guilty about it.
A lot of times people make you feel guilty about it. You feel like, oh, this is a good reason why I'm saying no. It makes sense for me.
It's
and
realistic.
Then they're like, really? How could you do that? And then it brings up back all the guilt. And you're like, well, it works for me. Okay, I'll try, and then I think, and then I go and do it. I did this a couple times and then I think, why did I waste my time? This is not where I want to be or what I want to be doing. And they convinced me that I needed to be here. So don't let people make you feel guilty and sway you into going ahead and doing it anyway.
I would hide clothes in my trunk
and
sneak them up at nighttime or something because you look and say, why'd you buy that? Why would you even think about doing that? Well, what do you need it for? And how much did it cost? So it was, instead of saying, no, stop. I deserve this. I love it. I shouldn't have to sneak it in. I should have said, no, don't do this to me. And it wasn't his fault. It was me not being honest with myself and not putting my foot down to be honest and not have to say
and having that inner strength to say no. Stick with your gut and say no. And it's much easier these days for me to say no, especially when you get burned enough times of people walking over you. It becomes pretty easy to say no, sorry.
I'm
can't
not gonna do that.
You know, and it just doesn't work into my schedule. And you don't always have to give them an excuse. Just say no. You know, I can't do it. I'm sorry, another time.
Well, you know, I also had a girlfriend that we used to go out to dinner with. I shouldn't say used to. I went out twice. And oh my God, she was so rude.
Oh, yeah.
To waitresses. I mean, it was just embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
And I did not say no right away.
Right.
And it was embarrassing to me, but I should have said, no, I'm not going to tolerate this.
Yeah.
And I felt guilty by not even saying anything, because
They know they're your
here's
friends,
these people, but they're not. You know,
They're not-
I shouldn't say
Yeah.
they're not your friends. I should say that we have to be honest with ourselves and not be rude. We don't have to be rude. Just say, no, I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
It's not okay to treat people like that. We all have to have respect.
Right.
We all have to have some civility, and we all have to respect each other as to, you know, when it's no, stop. You know, don't push your way through it. You know, so it's really been an exciting thing to turn 50 and be able to say no without guilt.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So, how many times have you had to say no since you turned 50? I've done that like 1,000 times when I never did it before.
Yeah.
You know,
I do it a
felt
lot more
guilty.
often, and so, you know, especially when your girlfriends have get-togethers and you've had a long day at work, and you're just like, I just can't do it. And at first I felt, oh no, I should go and be there, and but sometimes, you know, you gotta follow your heart and your gut on what if you're too tired, go home and get some sleep. Or crash
Say
on the
no.
couch and watch TV.
I
Yeah.
had to figure out that line between guilt
Right.
and no.
Yeah.
And now it's really easy to just say no. It's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do. You have to look
Especially
at
if
it and
people
say,
ask a lot of favors of you too. I know, you know, can you drive me here? I'm just coming in town. Can you pick me up at the airport? And if I'm totally available, I will. But if it means rushing, you know, nowadays with Uber, I'll say, can you just take an Uber, you know, and I'll take you back to the airport maybe. But I used to feel so guilty and obligated feeling. And now when I do it, I enjoy the visit. I enjoy the ride. I don't like, you know.
yeah, but then you know what? We were running ourselves ragged in the name of not saying no.
Yeah.
And today, I think after you turn 50, or even could be 55, it doesn't matter, it could be 48, you realize that, you know what? Your life is short. I mean, it goes quick.
You're right.
And there is no reason not to say, you're not being rude. You're just saying, you know, that's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
I've got a full schedule. I'm overwhelmed already as it is. Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, it's all in the delivery. I mean,
Yeah.
because you're not being mean about it. You're just
No.
honestly, it doesn't work for you.
Yeah, and that's
So-
the way you've got to do it. So please take a little bit of time to think through, is it serving you? And if it's making you feel guilty, don't take the guilt. Look at it and say no or yes, but don't do it from guilt.
Right, and
You
and
know?
if you want the time to think about it, you know, because we're so used to giving everybody a quick instant answer. So you know what? Let me check my calendar. Let me think about this. I've got a lot going on right now. I'll get back to you tomorrow.
That's very true.
And that way you've had time to think. Do I really want to do this? So
I hope all of you learned just a small thing from this. Don't feel guilty about saying no. It doesn't matter what it is that you're doing. Think it through and say, I am not guilty for giving up my time that I don't have. You know, so thank you for joining us.
at Mother Phoenix Rising. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.